Today we're going to take a look at multiplying polynomials. We're going to start with just a monomial on the outside and multiply by binomials and trinomials. And then we'll work our way up to some different kind of methods to how we can multiply polynomials. So let's get started. The first one we're going to multiply is 5x squared times 2x minus 1. So we have a monomial on the outside, and we're going to multiply by a binomial on the inside. So we're going to multiply this using the distributive property. So we can multiply polynomials by the distributive property. Take whatever's on the outside, you need to put arrows, and multiply it by whatever is on the inside. So this is x to the first power, even though we don't see it, so we can put our understood 1 there for the exponent. We're going to multiply the big numbers, and we're going to add the exponents. So 5x squared times 2x is 10x to the third power. 5 times 2 is 10, you add the exponents. Then we do 5x times negative 1, that's going to be negative 5x squared. And excuse me, this is 5x squared times negative 1. I might have left that squared off. That's very important. And make sure you put your answer in order from the biggest exponent to the smallest. Okay, next one. This time I have a monomial times a trinomial, but I'm going to multiply it the exact same way. Take whatever's on the outside, multiply it by whatever's on the inside. Multiply the big numbers, add the exponents. 12x times 10 is 120x. 12x times negative 6 is negative 72x to the third power. You add the exponents. There's 1 there and 2 there. 12x times 4x is 48x squared. Now, we're about 98% done with the problem. We need to put our answer in order from the biggest exponent to the smallest. So the x to the third term needs to go first, then the square term, and then our number. So our final answer is negative 72x to the third plus 48x squared plus 120x. So this is our final answer. It's in standard form. We have to write our answer from the biggest exponent to the smallest. See, we're going to have to do the distributive property twice. Take this 3x, multiply here. Take negative 5x, multiply by here. And then we will combine like terms if we have any. So we'll put our arrows up here so we can keep track. Right. 3x times 2x is 6x squared. 3x times negative 4 is negative 12x. Negative 5x times x squared, if you need to put your 1 here so you can see that you add the exponents when you multiply, it's going to be negative 5x to the third. And negative 5x times 7 is negative 35x. So we went through and we did the distributive property. We had to distribute twice, but that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. From here, we are going to combine like terms. So I'm going to start with the biggest exponent, which is x to the third. So that's going to go first. Then I have an x squared here. There are no other x squared terms in the problem. I'm going to bring that down. And then I have 2 x's that go together here. So that's going to give me negative 47. And so this is our answer. So x to the third came down. I got this x squared. Nothing went with that. And then I did have some other like terms that I needed to bring down. So this is us doing only the distributive property. If I have a monomial on the outside and I'm multiplying it by any other type of polynomial, then we go through and we do the distributive property. Now, the next part of the board, I'm going to show you how to multiply binomials. And we're going to be using something called the distributive property, which we still will have to hold on to. And we'll also have something called the box method, which I will show you that I think that you will find a little easier and hopefully you will like. So let's get started with D. So I'm going to show you 2 different ways. The first way that I'm going to show you is the distributive property. So this is going to be method 1. Okay, so method 1 is going to be the distributive property. So when you do the distributive property, if we're multiplying x plus 3 times x plus 4, you break up your first polynomial, and it's going to be x times x plus 4, and 3 times x plus 4. So x times x plus 4, and then 3 times x plus 4. Make sure you take the sign that's in the middle here. So x times this second polynomial, and then 3 times this second polynomial. So this is us doing the distributive property. We go through, we multiply. This gives me x squared plus 4x plus 3x plus 12. We combine like terms. This gives me x squared plus 7x plus 12. All right, so that is one way that we can do it. So this method is the distributive, and I'm abbreviating, property. Okay. The second way that I want to show you how to do it is the box method. So this is box. Okay. When you do the box method, you take your polynomial and you set up like a 2x2 square or a 3x3 square. It's very similar to if you're in like science, biology classes, called a Punnett square. So I'm going to set up a 2x2 square. And x plus 4. So my first polynomial was x plus 3. I put that at the top, x plus 3. My second one is x plus 4. I put that on the side, x plus 4. So this is my first polynomial, and this is the second. We're going to go through and we're going to multiply and fill in what goes into our boxes. So x times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. 4 times x is 4x. And 4 times 3 is 12. Okay. Notice I'm getting the same terms I got up there. It's just a different visual, and I personally like this method. So I combine my like terms. Okay. So my final answer is x squared plus 7x plus 12. And that's the exact same answer I got when we did the distributive property. So it's two different ways of getting to the same answer. And let me separate this here so that you know that there are two different ways of getting to the same answer. This top part here is the distributive property. Break up your first polynomial, multiply it by the second one, and then down here at the bottom, this is called the box method, where I'm doing a 2x2 square, and I combine like terms. All right, let's take a look at E and F. So we're going to go through and do either the distributive property or box method for E and F. I'm going to do one of them using the distributive property, and then the other way I'll go through and do the box method. It doesn't matter which way you like to do it. They're going to give us the same answer. So E is 3x minus 4 times 2x plus 5. So 3x minus 4 times 2x plus 5. I'm going to do this one using the distributive property. So if I do distributive property, it's going to be 3x times 2x plus 5 and negative 4 times 2x plus 5. So I took the first polynomial, which has two terms, and I'm breaking it up into the two different pieces. So 3x needs to be multiplied by 2x plus 5, and negative 4 needs to be multiplied by 2x plus 5. So I broke up 3x minus 4. Now we go through distribute. This gives me 6x squared plus 15x minus 8x minus 20. Combine like terms have the same variable raised to the same exponent. So my final answer is 6x squared plus 7x minus 20. And if you were to do the box method with this problem, you would still set up this 2x2 box here. You put 3x minus 4 on top and 2x plus 5 on the side. And that's how you would do the distributive property for this problem. Last one, we're going to do 3j squared minus 4k squared. So 3j squared minus 4k squared. We're going to square the whole thing. So this means you're multiplying it by itself. So that means we're doing 3j squared minus 4k times 3j squared minus 4k. So it means you multiply it by itself. I'm going to do the box method. So 3j squared minus 4k. Set up my box here. And then I'm going to do 3j squared minus 4k. Again, just giving you options. I want to make sure some of you may pick up on distributive property. You can do it that way. Others of you might want to do the box method. They both give you the same answer. So I'm going to do this problem with the box method. We are squaring 3j squared minus 4k. And when you do that, that means you have to multiply it by itself, which is why I put the same thing on the top and bottom. Off we go. 3j squared times 3j squared is 9j to the fourth. 3j squared times negative 4k is negative 12j squared k. Negative 4k times 3j squared is negative 12j squared k. And negative 4k times negative 4k is 16k squared. Okay, multiply the numbers, add the exponents. Be careful with your signs. Multiply the numbers, add the exponents. So our final answer is 9j to the fourth, because there's only 1/4 term. So I brought down the 9j to the fourth. These go together. That gives me negative 24j squared k. And then the 16k squared is the only thing that needs to come down. Nothing else goes with it. And I break it down like this. If you had kj squared, that's the same thing, but generally we write it in alphabetical order, which is why I chose to write the problem like this. So this is multiplying polynomials. You can do the distributive property or the box method. Make sure you multiply the big numbers, add the exponents. So we're multiply the big numbers, add the exponents. When you get to the part where you're combining like terms, like these two right here, you add the numbers together. Negative 12 plus negative 12 is negative 24. If I come back over here to this example, 3x plus 4x gave me 7x. So when you add like terms, you do change the number. Otherwise, you're just changing the exponent. In the next video, we'll take a look at how to do the trinomials. It's going to be a little longer, but we still can go through and get the same answer.